What's good, gamblers, and welcome to my predictions and betting breakdowns for UFC Fight Night, Reyes vs Procházka. Before we start, just a quick run through of what happened last week at UFC 261. What an amazing night of fights and some real shock value moments. Without a shadow of a doubt, the best card of the year so far. Also, the fans being back just added to the entertainment of the night. Every fight bar 1 or 2 was a banger. The first fight of the night, Ariane Carnelossi vs Liang Na, was a great fight to start the card. Right from the first horn till the end, both women gave it 110%. After Liang gassed at the end of round 1, Ariane managed to get that victory via ground and pound in round 2. Uriah Hall vs Chris Weidman. How very ironic this fight was. For those who live under a rock, and have not seen this fight already, the outcome was completely fucking insane. Chris threw a wild leg kick early on and snapped the ever-living shit out of his leg, in damn near the same fashion Anderson Silva broke his against Weidman some years prior. As you can see, his leg gets mangled. We swiftly move on to Rose Namajunas vs Weili Zhang. The beautiful kick that Rose threw cancelled Weili so badly she didn't even realize the fight was over, until she watched the replay and saw her head smash against the canvas, followed by brutal punches. Well done to Rose for winning the Women's Strawweight Championship. And finally, the main event. Holy fucking shit, that punch Kamaru Usman hit Masvidal with was one of the hardest punches I've ever seen land. Literally sweat flew off Masvidal and hit people who were sitting 12 rows up from the fucking cage. Usman is the real deal, and I cannot wait to see Usman vs Colby Covington soon. With that being said, we can only hope this weekend's fights are half as good as that. We start with our first prelim bout, Luke Sanders vs Felipe Colares. Felipe has an excellent chin, surviving a full 15 minutes with the hard-hitting Montel Jackson. In that bout he was over a +400 favorite, but he done a great job at holding his own. Luke Sanders has been in the game for some time now. He has a UFC record of 3 wins and 4 losses. Sanders is also the older man, and looks to be coming towards the end of his career. He also has a bit of a chin issue. Very tough call to make here in this first bout, but I think I'm going to side with the youth and solid chin of Felipe Colares. I think there is a potential sub here for Felipe. With all that being said, my official pick will be Felipe Colares via submission in round 1. Or it may well go all the way for a decision. Not that excited for this bout, highly likely to be a stinker. But you never know with the first fight of the card, as they tend to be bangers. The next fight is yet another potential bum fight. The GOAT, KB Bhullar vs Andreas Michailidis. KB has one of them sus records, fighting your local drunk most of the time before making it to the UFC. Got completely flattened by Tom Breese in his first UFC fight in round 1. In Andreas' last fight he also lost, but in a very weird way. He fell through the cage door and the ref called it off. I think KB Bhullar will not have improved his game, and Andreas will grind him out for a 30-27 decision victory. Again, I'm not very excited for this fight, but you never know. The official pick is Andreas Michailidis via decision. On to the next one, Sam Hughes vs Loma Lookboonme. In my opinion, Loma is actually a decent fighter and I can see her walking through Sam here. Although Sam is the bigger girl, I believe she lacks the skill to deal with someone like Loma. Loma looked great against Angela Hill, nearly beating her. She's great at stuffing takedowns and has fantastic Muay Thai skills. I think because Sam is the bigger girl she will try to implement the grappling exchanges, attempting takedowns, but ultimately I believe Loma will get this done via a 29-28 decision or perhaps even a split. Getting into a bit of a better fight here, as Kamaka takes on TJ Brown. Going to be a close fight, I'm sure, but I feel Kai takes his profession more seriously, and will come out here a more improved version of himself than we saw against Jonathan Pearce. TJ Brown is coming into this fight after losing his last 2 fights in the UFC. I think TJ may try to get some takedowns early on, and probably will achieve that. He may even manage to win round 1 with takedowns and ground control, but my pick is going to be Kamaka via a 29-28 decision. As I said, I think he would have improved a lot since his last fight, and he will get it done here. Up next is Gabriel Benitez vs Jonathan Pearce. I'm quite the fan of Gabriel, he always seems very switched on and slick in his fights. In his last he managed to cancel Justin Jane with a brutal knee to the body in round 1, he has also fought the likes of Sadiq Yusuf, although he lost he still managed to look good in that fight, cracking Yusuf with a banging shot early on. Though nobody should be overlooking Jonathan Pearce, who beat the very intriguing prospect that is Kamaka. But he did lose to a washed-up Joe Lozon, who many thought he would beat that night. Gabriel is a fantastic kicker and I believe he uses them here, mashes the legs of Pearce. I don't believe Pearce will be able to get takedowns, but if he does I can't see him keeping him down. So as long as this stays standing up, I can't see a world where Jonathan Pearce can win, therefore my official pick will be Gabriel Benitez via a 30-27 decision victory. Our next fight is most certainly a go and grab a beer fight, or maybe smoke a fatty. Randa Markos vs Luana Pinheiro. Markos is coming into this fight with a fucking 10-10 record, good lord. There is zero chance I am siding with Randa Markos, I can tell you that for a fucking fact. Luana has an excellent submission game. I think Luana can get the submission here but may also get the decision. I know that Randa has fought the better competition overall, but in my opinion she is just terrible. They let go of Tyrone Woodley but keep fighters like this around, complete joke. The final pick will be Luana Pinheiro via submission in round 1 but I can see that decision also. Zero chance I bet that drug money here, I'd rather bet on fucking Bellator. Onwards to the main card. Perhaps I'll smoke 2 fatties as Poliana Botelho takes on Luana Carolina. Let's start with the fact I do not rate either fighter here at all. Poliana is coming off a shitty loss to Gillian Robertson, in that fight she didn't look good at all. Luana also coming off a submission loss to Ariane Lipski. Tough choice to make here. Luana is the younger, longer girl in this bout, also at that underdog value I guess if you've got big boy balls she could be a potential play. Although me personally I wouldn't touch this fight with a fucking 10-foot pole. I will slightly edge the underdog Luana Carolina to win via decision but my confidence levels are 1 out of 10. Will probably sit on my phone for this one. On to the next fight, a fantastic grappling scrap I'm sure. Merab Dvalishvili vs Cody Stamann. Merab is a phenomenal grappler, easily controlled his last opponent John Dobson. Dodson is normally a very tricky opponent to face, he even dropped Petty Yan at one point, but Merab was easily able to control him and get the double dong. Many believe Dong won that fight and it was a robbery in the making. Merab is the younger, much bigger guy here, I think he out-grapples Stamann, taking it all the way to a 29-28 decision victory. I could see Stamann landing more in round 1, potentially winning the round, but then Merab takes over and wins the last 2. So my official pick for this exciting bout will be Merab Dvalishvili via decision. Our next one is yet again a brilliant scrap, as Strickland takes on Krzysztof Jotko. Sean is a fantastic fighter, excellent boxing skills and has great takedown defense. He's even been in there with the likes of Kamaru Usman and was able to stuff 6 out of 8 takedowns in their fight, and everyone knows how good Usman is at getting takedowns and controlling opponents. He also destroyed Brendan Allen, who went on to look incredible in his last fight against Carl Robertson. It is possible that Jotko can control Sean up the cage and landing takedowns, but this seems as likely as Randa Markos looking good in her fight. I believe that Sean will piece up Jotko here and land a cracking shot on the chin, ending Jotko via knockout in round 2. This main card is looking fucking tasty here as Iron Cutelaba takes on Dustin Jacoby. Iron is fantastic on the ground, very well known for ragdolling his opponents if they become too much for him on the feet. Another deciding factor for me is that Dustin Jacoby takes this fight on short notice. I think Iron destroys Jacoby here, taking him down and punching his face into the mat, winning this fight via ground and pound in round 1. Iron, in my opinion, is just too good for Dustin here. My official pick and probably one of my most confident is Iron Cutelaba via ground and pound in round 1. That good old drug money will be landing firmly on the shoulders of Iron here big time. Our co-main event will be Swanson vs Giga Chikadze. Giga taking the step up in competition here after 5 straight wins within the UFC. Giga will be much bigger all round than in there, he also has fantastic stand-up game. I do see a lot of Donnies on Swanson, but me, personally, will be taking Giga Chikadze via a 30-27 decision. Another fairly confident pick. Yes, our main event, and what a fucking main event it should be, as Dominick Reyes takes on Jiří Procházka. A very 50-50 fight based on the opinions that I've seen. Some say the Reyes that had a great fight with John Jones will make a comeback, while others say Jiří will crack that recently broken nose of Dominick Reyes. Me personally, I can see Jiří cracking that nose again, hurting Dominick much like Jan did. He's the younger fighter and has a lot more momentum coming into the fight. But this is a very tough main event to call. I'm going to slightly edge Jiří here, but it may be a case of the Dominick Reyes who fought John Jones making the comeback, in which case people who have bets on Jiří will begin to shake. So with all that said, on a confidence level of about a 3 out of 10, I'm taking Jiří Procházka to win via knockout in round 2. But if you believe Dominick can win this, I cannot say I disagree. A tough main event to have a decent read on, but someone's got to win, and I believe that will be Jiří here. Thanks for watching, gamblers. I'm slowly building up my channel, and I hope that if you enjoyed my video you could hit the like button, and maybe a cheeky subscribe. Thanks boys.